Hillcrest House. Even the name whispered on the wind seemed to carry a chill. It stood atop a windswept hill, overlooking the town below. The house was a Victorian mansion, once grand, now decaying. Its windows were dark eyes, staring out blankly. The paint peeled like scabs, revealing the rotting wood beneath. The garden, once vibrant, was now overgrown and choked with weeds. An air of sorrow hung heavy, a shroud woven from whispers and shadows. The house was a monument to forgotten dreams and unspeakable tragedies. Locals spoke of it in hushed tones, their voices laced with fear and superstition. They told tales of strange lights and eerie sounds emanating from the house. They spoke of figures glimpsed through the dusty windows, figures that vanished when approached. The stories painted a chilling picture. Hillcrest House was not merely old, it was diseased, infected by something sinister that lingered within its walls. It was a place where the veil between our world and the next was thin, a place where the dead refused to stay buried. The history of Hillcrest House was steeped in sorrow. It was built in 1888 by a wealthy industrialist named Edward Blackwood. He lived there with his wife Eleanor and their two young children, a boy and a girl. The Blackwoods were a prominent family, known for their lavish parties and their contributions to the town, but their happiness was short-lived. Edward Blackwood, plagued by financial ruin and driven to despair, took his own life in the house's study. His death shattered the family's facade of happiness. Eleanor, unable to cope with the loss and the whispers that followed, retreated into a world of madness. One cold November night, driven by grief and insanity, Eleanor Blackwood took the lives of her two children before ending her own. The townsfolk whispered of her screams echoing through the night, a chilling symphony of despair. The Blackwood tragedy became a dark stain on the house's history. Decades passed. Hillcrest House stood silent, shrouded in darkness and whispered rumors. Then, the Andersons arrived. John and Mary Anderson, a young couple from the city, were captivated by the house's faded grandeur. They saw past the decay, blinded by the prospect of restoring it to its former glory. They were filled with hope and excitement, eager to start a new chapter in their lives. They dismissed the local tales as mere superstition, choosing to see only the potential within the house's aging walls. The house, starved for life and laughter, seemed to welcome them. But their initial joy was short-lived. The darkness that permeated Hillcrest House was not something that could be renovated or painted over. It was a living, breathing entity, lying dormant, waiting for the right moment to stir. The disturbances began subtly. Footsteps echoed in the dead of night, heavy and deliberate, ascending the grand staircase, yet no one was there. Doors creaked open, seemingly of their own volition. A chill permeated the house, clinging to the Andersons like an icy shroud. Mary swore she saw fleeting glimpses of figures out of the corner of her eye. A woman in a long, flowing gown, her face obscured by shadow. A young boy, his laughter echoing through the empty halls. A sense of dread began to creep into their hearts. Objects moved inexplicably. Pictures hanging on the wall tilted at unnatural angles. Toys belonging to their young daughter Lily scattered across the floor as if tossed by an unseen hand. Their initial excitement curdled into unease, then fear. Desperate for answers, the Andersons reached out to Sarah, a renowned paranormal investigator and medium. Sarah arrived at Hillcrest House, her eyes filled with a mixture of curiosity and apprehension. She could sense the weight of the house's history, the residual energy of tragedy and despair clinging to its very foundation. As she walked through the house, her fingertips trailing along the cold stone walls, she was bombarded by visions. Flashes of Edward Blackwood's descent into madness, his face contorted in anguish. The chilling image of Eleanor Blackwood, her eyes vacant and wild, clutching a blood-stained knife. The air grew thick with the presence of the unseen. A cold spot settled over the room, the temperature plummeting despite the roaring fire in the hearth. Sarah could feel the despair, the anger, the rage that lingered within the house's walls. It was palpable, suffocating. Sarah confirmed their worst fears. Hillcrest House was a beacon for lost souls, trapped between worlds. The Blackwoods, their souls tethered to the site of their demise, were not at peace. Edward Blackwood's spirit, driven by guilt and despair, haunted the study where he took his own life. Eleanor Blackwood, her maternal instincts twisted by madness, roamed the halls, searching for her lost children. The children, their innocent souls forever marked by the tragedy, were trapped as well, their laughter echoing through the empty halls, a chilling reminder of their stolen lives. Sarah explained that the spirits were not inherently evil, but rather trapped, unable to move on. They were tethered to the house, their energy feeding on the fear and despair that permeated the very air. Sarah proposed a cleansing ritual, a way to appease the spirits and help them find peace. She gathered the Andersons in the living room, the air thick with anticipation and fear. Candles flickered, casting dancing shadows on the walls as Sarah lit sage and began to chant in a low, soothing voice. The house seemed to respond to her words, the air growing colder, the shadows deepening. A low hum vibrated through the floorboards as if the house itself was awakening from a long slumber. The Andersons clung to each other, their faces pale, their eyes wide with a mixture of hope and terror. The energy in the room intensified, a palpable shift in the atmosphere. The air crackled with unseen energy, the scent of ozone mingling with the pungent aroma of burning sage. Sarah's voice grew stronger, her words echoing through the silent house, a beacon of light in the encroaching darkness. Section 8. The Night of Confrontation. The ritual reached its climax. The air crackled with energy. A cold wind whipped through the house, extinguishing the candles and plunging the room into darkness. The temperature plummeted, the air growing heavy with the stench of decay and despair. The entities made themselves known. Whispers snaked through the darkness, chilling the Andersons to their core. The sound of children's laughter, laced with an unsettling undercurrent of malice, echoed from the hallway. The shadow of a woman flickered in the darkness, her eyes burning with a cold, malevolent light. Terror threatened to consume them. Sarah, her voice trembling but firm, continued the ritual, her words a lifeline in the encroaching darkness. She pleaded with the spirits to release their hold on the house, to find peace in the afterlife. The house seemed to shudder in response, the floorboards groaning underfoot. Section 9. Flight from a Haunted Haven. The confrontation reached a fever pitch. Objects flew across the room, propelled by unseen forces. The air crackled with static electricity. The Andersons huddled together, their faces pale with terror, as Sarah, her voice hoarse but unwavering, continued to chant, her words a shield against the darkness. Then, as quickly as it began, the chaos subsided. The air stilled, the temperature returned to normal. The only sound was the crackling of the fireplace and the ragged gasps of the Andersons. Sarah, her face pale with exhaustion, collapsed onto the floor, the sage smoldering at her feet. The Andersons, shaken to their core, decided they could no longer bear to stay in the house. They packed their belongings, their daughter's terrified cries echoing through the empty halls, and fled Hillcrest House, leaving behind the darkness that clung to it like a shroud. Section 10. Hillcrest's Lingering Shadow. Hillcrest House stands empty once more. The Andersons never returned, their dreams of restoration lying shattered like the fragments of their sanity. The house stands as a stark silhouette against the setting sun, a constant reminder of the darkness that resides within. Locals avoid it, their whispers following it like a curse. Some say the cleansing ritual worked, that the spirits of Hillcrest House finally found peace. Others claim the darkness merely retreated, waiting for the next unsuspecting soul to cross its threshold. The truth, like the shadows that dance within Hillcrest's walls, remains elusive, shrouded in mystery and fear. Section 11. Unanswered questions, unexplained events. Even now, stories circulate about Hillcrest House. Hikers passing by at night report seeing flickering lights in the windows. Some claim to hear the faint strains of music emanating from the house, a haunting melody carried on the wind. Animals refuse to go near the property, their instincts warning them of an unseen danger. The real estate agent tasked with selling the property refuses to step foot inside. She claims to have felt a cold hand on her shoulder, a whisper of her name spoken in the dead of night. Hillcrest House remains unsold, a testament to the enduring power of fear and the unknown. Section 12. A haunting reminder. Hillcrest House serves as a chilling reminder that some places are best left undisturbed. It is a testament to the power of the past to reach into the present, to haunt our waking hours and fuel our nightmares. The question remains, was Hillcrest House truly cleansed, or does the darkness linger, waiting to claim its next victims? The answer, like the house itself, remains shrouded in mystery, a haunting enigma that continues to captivate and terrify. Hillcrest House stands as a silent sentinel, a testament to the enduring power of fear and the unseen forces that lurk just beyond our perception.